Good afternoon, good
Morning.
evening, wherever you at. Welcome to the first of many installments of Not Your Typical Booty Scratchers. I am Abdullah,
My name is Peter.
and nice to meet you, and thank you for tuning in. I think right now, I think we'll just take the time to just introduce ourselves, tell you a little bit more about who we are, what got us started with this, and what we plan on, doing with Not Your Typical Booty Scratchers. Um, So yeah, I think first and foremost, just give you some insight into like the name, not your typical booty scratchers, because it may
Talk
catch
about
you off
it.
guard.
Talk about it. Talk
Uh,
about it.
this my big brother, somebody I've been around since I was probably like the age of 7, and he taught me a lot from like life to fashion to business and just how to be a mature like individual in the world. And we decided to come together and do this podcast and kind of talk about the real. I think everybody, wants to glorify like the struggle or glorify like what life is and not really talk about what they go through and the obstacles that they face and that, we do face problems on a day in and day out basis. But like we've had the benefit of experiencing the best of both worlds. Like we're both African American individuals. Our parents
Yep.
are from Africa. We had the opportunities to go to some of the best, schools in the country from, grade school to high school to college. And we just wanted to find an opportunity to like put all of that together and just talk about, our experiences, talk about the real and bring people in to help, with that. Is there anything you want to touch on, big bro?
Man, Dooley is like my twin, basically. Known him kind of since I was young and really intelligent. Always, I would say, more mature than his age. So Dooley was the kind of dude that kicked it with people that's older than him all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because you just had a old soul. And when a lot of people know that you're smart, you know what I'm saying, you tend to put yourself in groups that are probably wiser than you know, because you're just trying to pick up game. But I think with the name of this podcast and this podcast in general, just to kind of echo off of what he said, we just want to talk about the real. We're two African American kids who kind of have a little bit of mixed cultures. So we kind of have our African roots, and then we kind of have our Chicago American roots as well. So just kind of blending both and just kind of seeing a different perspective with different topics, and just kind of how our lives have unfolded, kind of balancing our two culture clashes. So yeah, that's pretty much it on mine, man.
Well said, well said. So yeah, just a little bit more insight about me. Like I said, I'm Abdullah Conte. Everybody calls me Doulie. Um, 26, 27-year-old young man from the Chicagoland area, born and raised. My family's from Gambia, a small country in West Africa, about 1.5 million people. Um, and I say like my Gambian roots is kind of like built the foundation for who I am today as a person. And then that on top of the fact of like being born and raised in Chicago, you kind of have to embrace this work hard, tough mentality. And that's like really who I am as a person. I think my entire life I just really been trying to showcase my abilities and be the best person that I can possibly be. Um, I went ahead about 4 years ago and started a digital marketing platform based around fashion. Really just trying to key in on minority fashion designers, creatives, like models within the fashion space and showcase to the world like we have the sauce. We have all the sauce that, we don't need to go to the Gucci's, the Ralph Lauren's, the
Hmm.
Louis Vuittons of the world because we have people in our community, who are putting out the same, if not better quality, materials and content. They just don't have the resources and the means to promote themselves. And that's where, I came in with Sincerely Richard about 4 years ago. And aside from that, I'm really big into the digital marketing space. Graduated 2016 with my undergrad degree in marketing. Recently finished up a master's degree in integrated marketing. So I have a goal of being one of the best digital marketers out there. So just really here to, add to the world and figure out what I could, do to advance it.
Well, I'm not as cool as Dooley. So basically, my name is Peter Adjaman. I'm Ghanaian American. As a youth, I was born here, but as a youth, I spent my, I think, years of two or between 2 and 7 in Ghana. Came back to Chicago, and basically, my whole identity is rooted in the city. I am a mechanical engineer by degree. So I've held jobs in construction. Now I'm kind of doing more underground utility work. Again, I'm not as cool as Dooley, but all of Dooley's interests are basically my interests as well. Super into fashion. I'm a sneakerhead. I love sneakers, and not just the aesthetic of sneakers, but kind of the design of sneakers. So my kind of engineering background tie it in with kind of how product is designed. So like why are shoes designed the way they are for certain athletes? Not every shoe mold is the same. LeBron's shoes might be a little heavier, might be a little lighter than Kobe's, whose are low tops and a little lighter. So things like that catch my interest. Super hip hop head. I love hip hop. I love boom bap. Trying to get more into the R&B bag. But yeah, I'm here to support my brother in his endeavors. He has a sauce. I think he's a great visionary. And the thing I really appreciate about Abdullah is that a lot of people have a lot of dreams that they're shooting for, and he's really like applying it. It's a lot of your homies that probably tell you like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, but he's somebody I've seen in action kind of put shows together. Kind of like you said, he created his own platform. He prints shirts and all that kind of stuff. So he's really super in tune with his creative, which I appreciate, and I'm here to support my brother. I eventually want to dive into something like that, but for me right now, it's baby steps with all the 9 to 5 stuff we got going on. So I'm definitely trying to work my way there.
Man, appreciate those kind words, but
The goal.
like you opened up with, man, I've been around older people my entire life, so I had the opportunity to, soak in all the ideas that you guys had and everything you guys talked about, and I think right now it's just my turn to like actually
Yes, sir.
implement and execute on them, because like at the end of the day, it's our dream. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had the same core group of friends in my life since I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think at the end of the day, we all have the same visions, we all have the same goals, and we all play our role. It's like a team at the end of the
Yes,
day.
sir.
Not everybody is a superstar, but everybody plays a role, and that's just how I look at life as a whole. You just got to play your part. So
Yes,
once
sir.
again, appreciate it. You helped me build this foundation, and right now we about to get a world what they need, what
Yes,
they've been missing
sir.
out on.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes,
appreciate it.
sir.
Cool. So I think we could just hop into this, first segment of the day. For the last year, man, we've been locked down with quarantine, with coronavirus, and it doesn't look like anything is getting prettier anytime soon. So I think we just take this time to just talk about how we've been feeling over the last year.
This should have been trash. I'm gonna just be on it. This year, this coronavirus thing, number one, is crazy. Like I've forgotten what regular people look like. You know what I'm saying? Somebody take off a mask, and I'm like, oh shit! Like I forgot you had a mouth. Like it's like a
Yeah.
whole personality thing. But for good reason, we're wearing them. So initially, when they kicked off, I was definitely at work, and a bunch of people were getting sick at the time. You know what I'm saying? And we kind of brushed it off as like a cold that was getting around. But once they started sending people home and people working home for months at a time, and I'm stepping out, I'm seeing people with masks, and Lori's like, yo, you can't buy liquor past 9 o'clock, and all these little rules and stuff like that. I kind of knew something was different, and it's a terrible virus. Rest in peace to all the people who we've lost due to it. It's a very serious thing. I don't want to make it like a light topic. It's a real thing. It's a real thing that's happening. I know a bunch of us kind of, at least the healthy people, kind of have been maneuvering throughout the world. Like, it's not going to affect me, blah, blah, blah. But you look at stories like Karl Anthony Towns, who plays for the Minnesota
Yeah.
Timberwolves. He lost his mother and father, and he recently, I want to say about a day ago,
came down with it.
tested positive for coronavirus. So it's a real thing. It might not affect you, but think about, people who have pre-existing conditions or people who are susceptible to that kind of stuff. I would just advise you to be safe. And yeah, coronavirus, man, it ruined my year, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. So what you think, bro? How'd it hit you?
Honestly, I think I'm one of those people who take it like super, super serious. Like I'm not trying to be around people. Like I just
Because he lying, by the way. This nigga lying.
I don't know, like because of my own like I got asthma, so some people may not think it's like that serious. But one, I don't want to play with it. Two, like my parents are a little bit older, and I still go see them, so I'm not trying to mess around with this at all.
Yep.
And originally, it started like it took a toll on me mentally. Like I already don't like to do much. I rather just like sit in the crib and work on something, or like go out when I have to, but just knowing that you can't do anything and you don't really have those choices has kind of just put a mental constraint on me. Like, damn, so one, on the positive side, like I was looking forward to this vaccine because it at least like getting it at least puts me in the mind frame of, okay, now I have more choices and I have more options. Mm-hmm. But then on the flip side, it's also like, all right, I've seen historically, what vaccines have done to like minorities and people of color and how like they strategically try to mess with us and ruin our lives. So it's like
test subjects, basically.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, do I really even want to do that? But then you just think about the fact that 370,000 people have passed from this. You know what I mean? So it's like, what do you really want to do? Or how do you go about like getting back to normal life or whatever that actually means? So
let me ask you this: how do you feel about the vaccine in general? Is it something that, because I have friends who I won't name, but I have friends who are in the medical industry. One or two of them actually just got shots, and one of them you definitely know. She told me that she got cold chills and body aches, and I'm like, nah, bro. Give me some orange juice, my nigga. I'm cool. How do you feel about the whole? Are you gonna take it? Do you think you might take it? Or what's your overall thought about the vaccine? I think we got the Pfizer out there,
and I'm gonna need your answer immediately after.
Damn, you wasn't supposed to ask me that. Bro.
But to be honest, bro, like I've never gotten like any of those vaccines aside from the ones that you need for school, like to be able to be around your peers.
Facts.
Off bat, I was like, nah, I'm not about to get this vaccine. But then like after having conversations with some fobs, like my dad and people, and they was just like,
crazy.
Like they was just like, America is the only place that really looks down upon, vaccines. Like you go overseas and they're all immediately getting vaccines because, it's like the norm to stay safe. So with that thought in my mind, I'm like, all right, this can probably help my longevity of life, so let me think about it. But on the other side, I'm hearing, side effects like that. Cold chills, I'm feeling sleepy, you got to get it in 2 doses. So I'm like, you know what? I may have to chill out on this. But if it comes down to messing with my money and like I can't go to work because I don't have the vaccine, I'm gonna just have to fold. Unfortunately.
I feel you. I was thinking about that too. I feel like it's going to hit the point where your job is going to come up to you and be like, yo, we need you in the office. Are you going to take this vaccine? Yeah. And then it's like my salary or my health. Mm-hmm. You really don't have too much or too many options. Like you need to eat. You got to pay your bills. You got to take care of yourself and your family. So
I think it's interesting too, though, because they say when you have the vaccine or when you get it, you're still able to have the virus, but you just won't like die. You know what I'm saying? You won't get the extreme symptoms and you can still spread it. So it's essentially like they're forcing everybody to get this vaccine one way or another, because if you don't have it, you're more liable or at risk to actually like pass away.
So that just makes me think like, why the fuck we even taking this shit in the first place? Like to your point about, shout out to our parents, the fobs, all the, all the real Africans. You know, we all know Africans that got that same shot in the arm.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Bullet hole in their arm.
You're really not a foreigner if you don't have that shot in your arm.
That's a fact.
But yeah, you know, for people like my parents, like my mom especially, you know, my mom is turning 70 this year. I love you, Ma. You know, for people like her that go grocery shopping all the time, she's retired, so her life basically revolves around like tasks. So like grocery shopping or going, you know, moving around. For people like my mom, I'm concerned because, you know, she's of old age. I really don't know how this is going to affect her. But I want her to be healthy and I want her to not be susceptible to catching the virus. So it's a catch-22. I feel like my homies that have taken the vaccine, once they kind of give me the thumbs up, once they get the second dose and everything's A1 and they make it through, then I'll be like, all right, I'll do it. But
yeah,
I'm iffy on it, G. I don't know.
I'm super iffy on it too, man. But it's just right now we seeing cases keep going up,
going
up,
crazy,
and it's
crazy.
It's a full year after. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I think me and you had this conversation earlier, bro. Like I have a client through my job.
Mm-hmm.
She's overseas. She works in Australia, and she mentioned that over the holidays that Australia was thinking about going back into a countrywide lockdown again because the cases were increasing. And I asked her, like, yo, how many cases did you guys increase by? And she was like 30. So it's like we're seeing other countries, who have been, bent this curve and actually slowed stuff down because they're being way more proactive. They're not even having to resort to things like vaccines, but the community has come together and said, hey, we have to be the ones to change it. I just feel like here in America, like we don't have that same mentality. We're quote unquote a democracy and people have too many opinions and choices right now.
Everybody for self, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My pops went to the gas station yesterday, forgot his mask, went back into the car to grab it. The woman, the cashier was like, oh, you didn't even need to go do that. We don't care about masking here. So, it's like different mandates across the state.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy.
It get tricky. I agree with that. It's a weird game to play. Some people take it serious. Some people don't. I was just telling you about, going to the gym and hooping and playing V's and shit. And, you know what I'm saying? Some people wear masks. Some people don't. Some people take it serious. Some people don't. And I have a friend, her name is Christina. She lives in Spain. And initially when this shit kicked off, they shut that shit down. Like you couldn't, I think they had curfews and everything. So basically she was on lockdown most of the day, working from home. And now in Spain, and I think they were giving out tickets too. I could be wrong, but they were giving out tickets. But they definitely were able to beat that peak, that curve, and now shit kind of mellowed out. Here it's like Atlanta is fucking it's going Atlanta going crazy. Motherfuckers flying places. I think Vegas is open, and it's just like you having 50 states and each fucking governor and mayor making decisions for those respective places. It's like we're just not on one accord, so you never know what you're gonna get. And all I can say is just take care of yourself, take care of your family. It's a real thing. I want that to be the main part of this. It's a real thing. So
yeah, like just to close on that, man, do what you got to do to protect you and yours.
Wash your hands.
As long as y'all doing it as a unit and everybody staying safe, man, as safe as could be, just do what you got to do.
Facts.
So, man, what we got for this next segment? What we gonna talk to the people about?
So something near and dear to my heart that really kind of, for lack of a better word, fucked up my year big time, aside from coronavirus, were the respective cases of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. I remember it like it was yesterday, man. Just, it's so etched in my mind, like in Chicago, just kind of like the looting that happened and the marches and protests, and it's just a lot. So I'm gonna let you kick it off, man. What stood out to you kind of with their two cases in 2020? It's deep. Take your time, bro, because it's shit deep, man.
Yeah, it's deep. it's sad, but I think the best word to describe it all is like reality. You know, like 400 years, and that's being generous, you know, by just saying 400 years of the same cycle of oppression. You could generalize it as just oppression, from systemic oppression, from like, you know, our own oppression amongst each other. Like,
that's a big one. Yep.
It's just sad that as a black person we deal with so much like just negative energy, you know, and yeah, we do our part in creating that negative energy. I'm never gonna like not hold us accountable.
For sure.
But like outside looking in, it's like we're mice. Like we're little roaches on the ground who, you know, just step on him real quick, he'll be good, and like just sweep it up, you know, like. And 2020, I'm glad social media is around right now to like magnify the cases of police brutality, like the Karens out here in the world, but I think we have to be like the change we want to see, because they not gonna give us shit. These white folk, they not gonna give us nothing.
Not at all.
You know, and I have white friends, I have white counterparts. There's nothing against y'all, but it's like I don't trust y'all. I don't fuck with y'all outside of how I have to fuck with you. Because at the end of the day, it's inherent for you to like feel like I'm a threat, to feel like I'm a bad person, all based off what you see in the media, all based off what mama, grandma, granddaddy done told you, what you listen to in the music, you know, like, but you never took or take the time to actually get to know me. You know, you use what I tell you and form a judgment based off that. Not even what I tell you, what you see and what you assume, and form a judgment off that. So like this George Floyd and Breonna Taylor situation, the two of many, it was saddening. And it wasn't surprising, like these end results that, you know, these officers get. So I just think let's have more black officers who actually understand our communities and, you know, let them run through the neighborhoods. I think that'd be better, but that ain't never gonna happen. It's about the, you know, the tax dollars. So.
Right. Man, this honestly, I could say like probably it's been a couple of times in my life that the word depression probably played a role, or I can identify certain times in my life where, you know, I went through depression, and definitely once I seen the video of George Floyd, bro, it killed me. Like, it's just like you feel helpless. It's like you're helpless, and then the people, the thing for me that hurts me the most is people that deny black oppression in the United States.
I hate black people who deny like black oppression.
Yeah,
that's Africans
that's
who deny
a whole
that. Yeah, like
man.
black, not to interrupt you.
That's a whole nother thing. But it's just kind of like, you know, it's such a real thing, and this is what I always tell people who aren't black. Like you said, you got white homies, I got white homies, I got Latino homies, people from all Asian, people from all different backgrounds. And one thing I always say is like, all of your black friends have at least one story that they can definitely identify where they felt profiled in some kind of way. Everybody in this room right now, I'm sure I can ask, you know, when did this happen? Or tell me a story. And everybody has a story that pops up. I've been targeted. I've been pulled out of cars before. I'm sure you probably been through stuff.
Starting at the age of 11, dog.
You know what I'm saying? Crazy,
shorties, bro.
Crazy,
you know?
crazy shit. And it's just like people are so blinded at because their world just doesn't coincide with ours. Yep. It's like a whole different plane and planet they're living on, and they don't want to reach down. They don't want to look down and see like, okay, damn, shit's fucked up. Let me understand. But I do want to say shout out to like the real allies, the people that showed out in record numbers this year, people who voted, people who marched and protested. But to George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, like, you know, the media is a motherfucker, man. And something that they try to do is they kind of take the humaneness out of people. Like,
oh yeah.
So they painted this picture of George Floyd, you know, bringing up his past criminal record and him being under the influence of drugs, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, this is a white police officer who's supposed to serve and protect, and you see him having his knee on a black man's neck on camera, with people recording this man, bro. And the crazy thing is, I think his name is Chauvin or whatever, knew George Floyd.
Yep, because they worked together or whatever.
Knew this man, bro. Knew this man. And for you to
it's a sickness, bro.
Bro, it's
that's a sickness, dog.
It's a real thing, and it's just like it hurt me so bad, and it's so triggering for me to see black people get hurt or killed on camera. When I see, like, back to even, like, the World Star shit, like, at one point in time as a kid, I'm like, oh, World Star. But as I got older, I'm like, yo, this shit is trash.
It's
like,
traumatizing,
yeah,
too,
exactly. Yeah. And, you know, we have all this social media. We have retweets, fucking YouTube, Facebook. So all this stuff is constantly in your face every day. With like Ahmaud Arbery and stuff like that, like seeing that video, it's just all type of shit. And to Breonna Taylor, man, I got a sister who's my best friend in the world, Hannah. I love you. And when I think about Breonna Taylor, I just think about my sister. Like, you know, that could have been my sister. Just finished work, is sleeping, and motherfuckers kicking the door, and you get a phone call saying that she's dead. Like, how do you process that? How do you
dead at the hands of people who's supposed to protect her at that. You know what I'm saying? Could you imagine, like, bro, imagine hearing a story like Jay-Z just got killed by 30-year security guard, you know, like, how, bro? This is a man he with every day that's supposed to be protecting him. You know, we could technically say the police be out here backdooring people.
That's a fact, boy.
They be out here backdooring the community, dog.
I believe that shit crazy. I believe that shit 100%.
That shit is crazy. They supposed to serve and protect us. Our tax dollars that is supposed to be protecting us.
Paying y'all salaries.
They out here, you know, trying to meet quotas. You know, giving out tickets unnecessarily. They out here killing, arresting the youth. You know, like this. And like, I think on this topic, bro, I think a lot of people have like the what is that phrase? Defund the police. I think they have it misconstrued. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean, you know, take the money away from them and all that. It just means bringing about reform. You know what I mean? Like, actually allocate money towards things that are going to better our people, better our community. It doesn't mean like, yo, you know, remove 500 police officers, which unfortunately Lori and them just did. But it's like, we have to do something to change. You know what I mean? Like, it puts me in a sad place, bro. It puts me in places where I just rant because it's 1,001 ideas that go on in my head about how things could have been handled differently. But it's like they didn't take the time to think about how they could have done it differently. They just went with their initial response or reaction.
And I'm the opposite of that, bro. I feel like, you know, you can rant, but when I see this shit, bro, I can't talk.
Yeah.
I can't talk because it hurts me, bro. It hurts me because when you, like I said, when you've been through some shit like this, like you don't have police officers put their hands on you and shit, your homies got stories about that, and then just to see it come to fruition on camera, bro, it's just like, damn, what more can I say? You know what I'm saying? It's just, we see this shit, and this is completely random, but it's just like something that I saw on Twitter that's an old Vince Staples interview I think he did on Hot 97.
That man's a wizard, though.
Yeah, he is. And he got bars, too. Vince was talking about how we sell black trauma, like how big black trauma is. And I'm tired of that narrative, man. Like, all our movies got something to do with, you know, the struggle. Yeah. And of course, the struggle probably made every black person who they are. Like, we all been through some shit. But we need to start celebrating. We need to start having more stories about black excellence. You know, like, Django is cool. Django is a great movie. I love Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is my dude. You know what I'm saying? He's probably somebody I looked up to since I was a kid. Great actor, great movie. But we need more film and more media that's like, let's celebrate these people. Even seeing the the Michael Jordan doc, The Last Dance. Yeah, just seeing a black man who literally was the most famous person on the planet Earth. We need more media highlighting that.
They are scared.
Talk about it, bro.
When just think about it. It's like, what is it? Fight or flight. You know what I'm saying? When you get scared, or like when you get uncomfortable, you're either going to embrace that level of uncomfort, or you're going to do something to get out of that, level of discomfort. White people, I'm generalizing once again, they run away from conflict. They try and find a way to make you feel inferior so that they can feel better about them. I truly believe that they're animals. Like they're savages, dog. Like, the show, like the Netflix show Raising Dion, how like a grown ass white man wanted to suck the blood out of a shorty, bro, a black shorty, because he was powerful. I truly believe that the white man, like the white person, bro, they suck everything out of us, G.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? They try and take every power that we possibly have because they don't have shit, bro. If they don't have sun, they turn pale.
Facts.
Huh? Like,
facts,
what
facts,
human has how do you have an adverse reaction to sunlight? You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, you're so I don't know, man. Like you said, bro, we have to create our own narratives. We have to do what we can for ourselves because nobody else is going to do anything for us.
And I just want to say this too. So shout out to my homeboy Punchy. We went to the March on Washington and organized by Reverend Al Sharpton in D.C. And the families, Breonna and George Floyd, went up there and talked and spoke. And, the support was crazy. Like the people, because we took Amtrak from New York. We flew to New York, took Amtrak from New York to DC. And just on that Amtrak, bro, all the black people that was on there, bro, getting off the Amtrak, everybody that went out there to watch Al Sharpton and the families of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor speak. It was so powerful just seeing that many people come together for one cause. And I just thought, I'm like, when Breonna Taylor, I believe her sister went up there and spoke, and she couldn't get through her speech because I put myself in her shoes. If somebody I love died and I'm standing on a podium and there's thousands of people, bro, that's so crazy. Like, I don't know you from a can of paint, but it's 1,000 motherfuckers out here just like, you know what I'm saying, in support of me and my sister and who I lost. It was a beautiful thing to see, man. I'll probably say like top 5 most powerful moments of my life.
I'm glad you got to experience that.
Yeah, I am too, bro, because that was some real shit. Like, granted, there were a bunch of protests and marches here that I chose not to go to due to the corona shit, but my homeboy put it on the table. He was like, yo, this is happening. I didn't even think twice about it, bro. I'm like, sign me up. Book my ticket that same week, and it's just a beautiful thing. So rest in peace, George Floyd. Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. We love y'all. We're still here fighting the good fight for you guys. So, yeah.
Let's be the change we want to see, man.
Amen. Amen.
Man, so this next segment, just to close out the year 2020, it was a lot that happened. We lost a lot of good people. I think we just wanted to take this time and just talk about like the effect of losing, some of these mainstream people, some, close people. Like, how did 2020 affect you? I know Kobe, that's our man. So I'm gonna start there. That was a week before my birthday, so I already know.
Yeah, that shit was.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, bro. I'm gonna say this, man. I'm gonna keep it brief. Being raised in Chicago, everybody hoop. Like, if you don't hoop, you're a bum to me.
Facts.
Like, it's everybody, even the weak motherfuckers can play. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Kobe was the reason, for me at least, that I fell in love with basketball. Because basketball was around and I'll play and go to the Boys and Girls Club and shit and play, but like to really love the game,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're running a fucking WGN to watch the games and shit when they're on TV. Like he was a big reason why as a kid, I'm like, T-Mac too, like, yo, I feel like I want to make it to the NBA or, you know, they were really inspirational. And, you know, Kobe wasn't perfect. Kobe wasn't a perfect dude. Kobe made mistakes. But I think the biggest thing I took from Kobe Bryant was despite the mistakes, he became a better man and he changed his life. Like he became a girl dad. You know, he fought for women in sports. You know, he did a lot of things with books and publishing and helping the youth, starting camps for women and all that. So Kobe, man, it was a big blow. I felt the same way when Nipsey died. It's just one of those like superheroes, like, you know, I never expected for this to happen. And rest in peace to Kobe Bean.
Yeah, man. I think, like you said, I think you hit it on the head.
Gianna
man.
too. I'm sorry, Gianna as well, and everybody else that was on that helicopter as well.
Facts, man. I just echo and second everything you said about Kobe, and I just think we lost a lot of promising, you know, newcomers and possible stars, you know, like Pop Smoke. We lost Kobe from doing something he does every day. Alex Trebek, like, you know, shows that we all watch growing up when you don't have cable and all of that, you know. So
yeah, real
2020
shit.
was a very eye-opening year. 2021 has started out as like part 2 of 2020.
Facts. We'll get right into that soon.
You know, but like you said, man, rest in peace to everybody that we did lose rather. Take what you can from them, from their experiences, and just try and be as good as you can be and be the best person you could possibly be.
Yep, agreed.
Sweet.
Jump into this next one.
Yeah, man. Present day. I think this last segment right now is just talking about where we at right now. Like I just said, 2021 has started out like 2020 part 2. But we're 2 weeks into this year, and I think Wednesday. What was the date that these idiots stormed
January, I believe the 6th, I want to say. The 6th or the 7th. One of those two. Yeah.
We had radicalists, nationalists, Trumpists. I mean, we've known this story of two Americas for 400 plus years. And it's nothing new. It won't change. I just think it's sick how they have this elitist mentality. I also think it was bound to happen because we had a man in office who for the last 6 years has tried to create a large divide amongst our people, and our people being Americans, you know, whether you're red or blue. This man has created a divide against white. So it's white people against anything brown or black. You know, whether you're Asian, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're black, this, you know, Trump has basically said, we don't like you guys and we're going to do everything in our power to get you out of here. So I just think he built that. It's about time all these damn social media sites started to ban him, but that ain't going to do nothing because he went on the podium the next day and said, I didn't incite these riots, but what they did was right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not surprising. America is what it is. Unfortunately, I was born and raised here, so I got to do what I can.
Rock with it, man.
But I did get that dual citizenship last year, so if I got to get up out of here, I'm out of here.
Out of here. I'm not mad at you at all, Brody. I'm not mad at you at all. When this shit happened, I think the first thing, and we spoke about this, the first thing that popped in my mind was white privilege. White privilege is a real motherfucking thing. Like, let some black people walk up in the Capitol building and try to get into the Congress women's office or, you know, saying Congress chambers and shit like that. That shit'd be on fire in the news. It'd be like an insurrection. Like, motherfuckers is basically trying to I don't know, revolt almost. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? And just kind of, I think it's hilarious now that all these white people that went are getting caught. Motherfuckers getting snatched off flights now. People, they catch you at your homes now. It's been a couple people in Chicago that they found, people out in the suburbs and all that.
Yeah.
I just think as a whole, the president or the former president of the United States isn't a good leader. I don't remember.
Bro, hold on. This was his first job. This man's first job as a 70-year-old person who was the president of the United States. That says everything.
We fucked up letting him in there in the first
You
place.
know what I
man.
mean?
And that's why I'm glad. I'm kind of glad he became president in that sense, because now we can't fuck around with voting no more. This ain't no game to let niggas like Trump or Kanye type of nigga try to get in there. Like, this ain't the time for that. This is not a game. Like,
Facts.
These are real lives, people going through real things. So we can't have celebrities kind of jump in and feel like they could be president.
Facts.
Because to me, being a president, to me, is like, okay, you have red, you have blue, you have white, you have black, you have, you deal with a lot. This is probably, as they say, the most powerful nation in the world. But as president, you have to be a leader. Mm-hmm. You can't be a leader if in your own backyard shit is fucked up.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you expect for the country to rally behind you when you're creating all this divisiveness? Like, you're calling third world countries shithole countries. You're talking about African Americans, high poverty rates on live TV. Like, that's not the quality or the characteristics of a good leader. Hell, even the Bushes of the world's, like, I can't remember like racism so blatant.
It wasn't like that.
To something you brought up earlier, like roaches. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like the big roach. Like, all the little roaches, you turn on the lights, and motherfuckers scatter. He's the one when you turn on the light, he's still there.
He's still there.
So now all these little motherfuckers is coming out and they rallying around him, and people who once were quiet about being, I guess you could say, prejudiced or racist, now kind of feel emboldened. Now they're like, okay, shit, if you don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck either. Shit, I'm gonna say the N-word when I want to. Nah, bro, don't let that nigga gas you up. This ain't a new day where you can act out of character. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is still, you're dealing with real people. When he's out of there, like, we're still here.
Yep.
And we gonna remember all the bullshit you were saying. So it's just, it's a heavy thing, man.
I think, to piggyback off what you said, bro, the biggest thing for me with the past year and then, like, even this guy's presidency as a whole is Trump really exposed America for what it truly is. We're not a real democracy. You know what I'm saying? We aren't top tier when it comes to, like, education, medicine, and all of that nature. And more importantly, we put the dollar over the people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're a super capitalist country that will let 370,000 people die and hold some vaccines in a chamber, you know what I'm saying, until what they want to happen happens. So it's like,
talk about it, man.
This place right here, bro, like, we had to have, Cuba's already been renowned, like, known and renowned for their medicine and their doctors. But the fact that when this COVID first came about, we had to have doctors from Cuba come to America.
Shit,
where
crazy.
Students are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, dog, to go to Johns Hopkins and to go study at Rush. But, like, we can't even solve a virus. Like, we can't even locate where it came. But we have a man standing at a podium calling it the China virus. You know what I mean? Like, we're a joke.
Grow up, nigga. That's just grow the fuck up.
If we want to be real, dog, we are a joke, and it's crazy. Like, I never in my life want to hear any of my friends tell me, like, you're from Africa, like, you guys are, it's like full of dictators and you guys don't have anything about, like, do you not see what's going on here? Like, do you guys not, like, so I think present day, bro, like you said, we're not going to forget those people and their comments that they made while this man was in office. But I think we just have to focus on the bigger purpose and the bigger cause, which is, like, creating generational wealth, and actually helping out our communities and putting resources in there. Like we was talking about before we started filming. It's crazy that when you go to a Food for Less in the hood, them prices is spiked. You know what I'm saying? Because they understand that almost everybody is on government assistance.
Right.
Like stuff like that is crazy. So we have to be the ones to put and funnel monies into our communities, and actually try and help. Because I've been saying it time and time again today, bro. They not gonna help us with shit.
Right. I completely agree. And I just want to make this point too. Like, there were some lives lost when the Capitol was stormed, and I see on Twitter like people making jokes about the lady who got shot in the neck and all that shit. That shit was not cool. Of them. Yeah, but that shit not cool to me, because it's like nobody deserves to go out that way. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Republican, like that's a tough way to go out. And what makes it even worse is that you're dying behind somebody that you rallied for. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not a good leader. Like,
not at all.
He's not sending you, it's not like he's sending you out to war to defend the country. This motherfucker is emboldening y'all to storm the Capitol to cause a ruckus, and boom, now you're dead. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just the idiocracy of it all is just absurd to me. And rest in peace to the people who did pass away there. I don't see color in that situation. I don't see political affiliations. I see human beings.
That's a fact.
No one for a fucking president, unless you're in the army, should be dying for some dumb shit like that. So I wanted to ask you too, just kind of with the whole present day topic, just being here in Chicago, how, with coronavirus and kind of the whole political spectrum, how do you feel like things are being handled in Chicago, just abroad? We have Lori and we have my man JP. So how do you feel about, or JB, how do you feel about?
Yo, so I'm actually like, I think Lori Lightfoot is a joke.
This nigga Doulie, bro.
If I'll be completely honest, I think she's a joke.
Crazy.
I think she's like, in The Shy, how they had, what's shorty name?
That's writer, my show.
They had her
Lena
Waithe. They had her play like the female mayor, but she was like the joke. She was paying the church guys to like help them get their votes and all
trying
that.
To finesse the votes. Yeah.
I personally feel like Lori Lightfoot was sent here, dog, by like the white people, and to kind of be this image of like diversity, but I honestly believe that she does not have the best interests of the people in her heart or in her mind. Since January 4th, I think there's been like 12 schools or 15 schools that have had increased cases of the virus, and she's still opting to like try this halfway program, and some students go. I just think that that's stupid. Like you have old teachers, who are being put at risk. You have family, like kids have to go home to their people, and like you're just putting a whole bunch of people at risk. But at the same time, bro, I also get it, because kids is failing, dog.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I couldn't imagine like being in the crib and trying to get your kid to stay in front of a computer when they're used to, being around their friends, and that's tough. That's tough.
So I don't know, man. And I also don't feel like her and JB Pritzker have been on the same page at all. I feel like
agreed.
He cares more about like the betterment and trying to like actually bend this curve, whereas she's just trying to think about these bucks. Like, so I don't know, man. We're in a very interesting place right now. One day our cases goes down, the next day our cases go up. I think we have entirely too many people here who want to live by their own rules, so it's going to be harder to like bend the curve here, but I'm just living, man, trying to do what I can. I'm
gonna say this about Chicago, man, and there's two different Chicagos. Like it's if you go out of certain places, bro, you would be surprised. You would think coronavirus did not exist,
Facts.
dog. Like I've seen it with my own eyes. Like shit is crazy. Shit is crazy. But to the Lori Lightfoot point, I want to cut her some slack because
Man.
she's not perfect, but Chicago is a tough place, bro. This ain't a rural town in Iowa. This is Chicago. Like, one, you're black. Two, you're a woman. Three, your sexual orientation is not what most people kind of fall in line with, right? You're dealing with coronavirus, so now there's like a budget shortfall. Money is not circulating now. Like, shit done dried up. You're dealing with looters. You're dealing with gangs. You're dealing with the president who's talking about sending people through because you're not doing a good job. And I want to send a National Guard because Chicago, blah, blah, blah. You're dealing with shootings.
Facts.
You're dealing with, now you guys probably seen carjackings have jumped up twice as many now. Like, it's so much for one woman and her team. Like, it's a lot. And a lot of motherfuckers I can honestly say will crumble.
Mm-hmm.
So I give her props for at least making it this far. Yeah, it's not perfect. Yeah, the way she maneuvers around or with CPD is terrible. When CPD was trying to break up a bunch of the marches and protests and stuff like that, they basically were fighting the people.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you've seen videos of
sure he's getting police dragged.
nightsticks and all type of shit. So that's not perfect, but I do want to at least give her some props because we've had a lot of shitty legislators in the state. You know, our history hasn't been the greatest with that, but she's doing okay. She's not perfect. I think anybody who would have took the job when she took it and then yo ass gets smacked by Corona, she probably thought shit would be smooth sailing. She probably thought, okay, I'm the first black woman mayor of the city of Chicago. Everybody was rallying behind her. Then this pandemic hit, and it's like motherfuckers, shit got real. You know what I'm saying? So I want to at least big her up in that regard because I know it's a tough job. When it comes to CPS in the schools, I know a couple CPS teachers, and they're trying to do like the hybrid learning, like half and half. You know, I know this about kids because I've worked with kids in the past for a couple of years. I got nephews that are basically, you know, wipe their asses and shit like that. Kids spread germs, man.
Quick and easy.
Kids spread germs. Kids sneeze in their hands and dap you up. Kids sneeze in their hands and give you hugs. Kids bring shit back from school. Kids share food and straws. And, like, this is not the time for that. Like, we shouldn't be doing that. And at least if they do the hybrid learning, I feel like, okay, bring probably, like, less than half of the student body back and have them spread out. I'm talking about four corners of the room. Like, you in that corner, you in that. Yeah, you think so?
I mean, bro, CPS, bro, they're already overpopulated. You know what I'm saying? All these classes is jam-packed already.
Yeah, they don't got enough teachers and shit, right?
They don't have enough teachers. It'd be 45, 50 kids per teacher. It's like, come on now. You know, so it's like they already was set up for failure. So the fact that you want to try this hybrid thing, it's like, all right, so a teacher who has 50 kids, what you going to do? Give her 25 in a room that's about this size, you know what I'm saying? How you do 6 feet each, you know, per student. So it's like, I don't feel like it's possible. And I also don't want to get a solution like they could have just canceled school as a whole because we know that that's not possible.
Right.
Like, but it's like, man, this not working.
Let me ask you this: as a parent, if you had the option to do kind of the hybrid learning or have your kid work from home or school from home until, let's say, the fall semester, fall year when school starts back up, what would you choose? Would you rather keep your kid at home or would you?
Let me keep it a buck with you, bro. I have this idea that when I have kids, they're going to be in quality education. So I don't, not saying it won't be CPS, but it'll probably be like a private school or like a magnet school or something of that nature, to where I'm sure that there'll be like policies and procedures put into place that will actually like work and be enforced. You know what I'm saying? So like in that case, I kind of feel like, shit, I would send their ass to school.
I'm sending y'all badasses to school,
You
bro.
feel me?
Kids, to me, it's like, I love them. I love shorties, but, you know, it's only so many questions you don't keep asking me, bro. It's only like, yo ass, go ask your teacher. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a certain tolerance level. And
Facts.
honestly, I believe kids, their attention spans are real short, especially with all the media that's flowing around. TikTok done changed the game. TikTok to me is like for the youth now is like everything. It's like our MySpace and like, I just found out my nephew is damn near getting like 500,000 views on his TikTok.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I had no idea he was posting TikToks, but he's doing all the little challenges and the little commentary videos and all that.
That's pretty cool, though.
But yeah, it's dope. It's dope. And I just think kids' attention spans now are really short. So I know it's definitely tough to kind of have your kid learn from home, as well as a parent that's like, you have to get work done too. So it's a juggling act, and it's just a tough thing, man. I don't know. Lori got her work cut out for her, man. That's all I can say about that.
I'm just ready for the 20th to be here. Hopefully we got this out by the 20th. And, you know, once Biden gets in office, there'll be like a mass release of those 9 million vaccines that have been, you know, under restraint.
How do you feel about Biden, by the way? How you feel about Kamala and Biden? I don't think I've heard that take from you yet.
So I believe Biden was the better of the two evils. I do understand, you know, what he did in the past as far as like putting that bill into place that was a part of mass incarceration. It wasn't solely him, you know, he was one of many. Off the strength of me getting the opportunity to work with him in undergrad, I'm saying go Biden.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got to work with him on this like It's On Us campaign, which was like fighting against sexual assault on college campuses.
Okay.
Check
That's
out my
dope.
Facebook.
That's
It's
fire.
a picture of me and him up there.
That's your man's man. That's your man's.
Off the strength of him working with Barack, like I have some positive spin in my outlook, but like I just really hope folks don't kick the can before his time is up, bro.
This nigga Doulie.
Because to be completely honest, I think Kamala Harris is a coon. If I'll be not a coon, not as strong as that, bro, but I really feel as if she used her being black to her advantage, like in her convenience. I personally do not believe that woman embraced her blackness prior to like this presidential running and campaign. I
knew it was a rap when I seen them Timbs, boy.
You feel me? And then like
I seen them bitches. I said those are the Marshalls sale Timbs.
And then she's on the cover of Vogue right now in like a suit with some Chucks, and it's like, you see, they really just trying to culturally appropriate shorty, and like
that fit is trash. I haven't seen it, but I'm just picturing it in my mind. I know that fit is trash.
It's trash, bro. And I can't like. Don't get me wrong, bro. I mean, I also may have some bias too because I be hanging around Fobs and I be listening to like what they say. And Fobs is fresh off the boat for the viewers who don't, you know what that is. But like,
gang.
And it possibly has like, you know, given me a bias. But I'm hopeful that they actually make change. But they're being given a shit show right now. So you know, I think it'll just be about balancing out what dude has messed up the last 4 years, and if Biden doesn't kick the can and is able to get another 4 years and have her, hopefully they can actually make some real change. And also, I don't rock with her because she supports Israel and like what they own with Palestine. So you know, so dig deep, but yeah,
she's a very contentious person. I don't know if people know who Uncle Murda is. He's a rapper. He's most famous for his year-end wrap-up.
Facts. And
I listen to it every year, and something he said this year in the year-end wrap-up, he was like, we didn't vote for Biden. We voted for Kamala. You know what I'm saying? People came out for her, because she's black, she's a woman, and her personality is just kind of like it's like a Bernie, but it's not as open. It's like it's she's kind of tight in her ways, but she's also super friendly. So when he said that, I'm like, man, that's real, because I just know, at least from my lens, a lot of people that came out to vote were all for Kamala. People were kind of like, Joe Biden, this nigga, he did this, and Kamala too, was a part of a lot of incarceration stuff on the West Coast. But I think, to your point, kind of the lesser of two evils. I just think we just need a leader right now, like someone who's going to unite the country. And of course, this country will never be united because there's too many moving parts, and like our history of just how we treat different groups of non-white people are just disgusting, from Asians to black to Latino. We just have blood on our hands from that. But I just feel like we need to all be on one accord, and we need the rest of the world to look at our country like, we respect who's representing the United States. I think when Trump is going out and he's doing these talks and he's meeting with these leaders, they're like, this is a fuck nigga. We don't fuck with him. He's a piece of shit. He's talking shit about our country. This nigga's trying to build a wall. He's trying to, just all these just not a leader, not the president of these United States. So that's just kind of how I feel about that situation.
Yeah, I don't think a good leader will come about unless he's under the age of 50.
Real spill.
My last thought is just unfortunately, we keep electing these old guys who have their supporters are obviously going to be people with older mentalities. You know what I'm saying? The inherent racism or the capitalism and lack of, democracy and all of that, as much as they want to be for something. So I just think we won't see real change until we have some younger people in office. And I mean, Kamala could be that person. Joe Biden is 77 years old? That's an old man right there.
Up there,
you know
sure.
What I'm saying? I don't think we've seen a president that old. So if we are able to get that, I think change will come. But I think first and foremost, for all of us who are very unfamiliar with politics, vote locally. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
Get in tune with what's going on in your communities and figure out what policies are being put into place and what you can actually vote for, because those votes, affect you the most. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get to that president shit later, but those people have a task of focusing on 50 states. So they're not thinking about individuals. They're not thinking about races. They just thinking about how do we stay afloat. So that's where I'm at with it, man. Not your typical booty scratchers.
Episode 1. You dig?
You dig. That's it. Unless you got some lasting thoughts, bro.
Man, I'm just happy that we did this. This is something that's been in the works for a little bit, and we finally came together with it. Feedback, it would be greatly appreciated from you guys. Me and Doulie kind of have a wide range of friends, you know what I'm saying? So any feedback from all different spectrums and walks of life, definitely welcome. Constructive criticism. We're just trying to get better at this as time goes on. So
say less.
Yep, my nigga.
One down, more to go.
Yes, sir.